Dr. Tenzing Dolma Dhakpo is the first Tibetan woman to receive a science research doctorate degree in Australia after successfully completing her PhD in medical science from the Australian National University. For today's conversation, let's welcome Dr. Tenzing Dolma Dhakpo. Tendula, welcome to our show. It's really nice to have you on Tibet TV.
Tesla Sakinala, and thank you for having me on your program.
You have been doing very well in your academics ever since you were in school. When you were at TCV in Dharamshala, you were the science topper. And after that, you went to London and Australia, where you were granted scholarships to pursue further studies in medical science. So can you tell us a little bit about your academic journey? How was it like?
Sure. I studied in Sacred Heart High School in Dalhousie, Himachal Pradesh till the 10th grade. And then I transferred to the Tibetan Children's Village School in Upper Dharamsala, from where I completed my schooling in the science stream. And then after that, I received a scholarship to do a bachelor's in biomedical science at the London Metropolitan University in UK. And from there, I graduated as the biomedical science graduate of the year. Then I moved to Australia to do a master in biotechnology and a master of philosophy research program at the Australian National University. And in 2016, I was awarded the Australian Government Research Training Program scholarship to do a PhD on the genetics of diabetes at Professor Chris Nolan's lab at ANU. And then finally, in 2021, I've graduated with my doctorate. So when I was studying, it didn't seem like it, but now that I look back, it has been a long journey.
Yeah. And also, Tendula, initially, I believe that you wanted to become a writer because you used to love books, but now you have a doctorate degree in science. So how did the change happen? And when did you realize that it was science that was your main interest?
I loved reading books since I was a child. When I was in school, I used to write my own short stories and draw illustrations. I would make storybooks out of them and give it to my friends because I thought one day I was going to be a famous writer like Enid Blyton when I grew up. But in the 7th grade, we were taught by a different biology teacher. Her name was Miss Grover, and she was very strict, and everyone was very scared of her. But she was a great teacher, and she made the subject very interesting for me. And I became very curious about how life works and why it works that way, and about all the complexities of microscopic things. So, by the time I reached 10th grade, I realized that my main interest was in science. So, my passion for science is all due to that teacher. I'm not sure if she realizes the impact she's had on my life, but I think it's all because of her.
That is really nice, Tendula. And also in 2008, when His Holiness the Dalai Lama had visited your university in London, His Holiness had met with the Tibetans there, you and along with the other Tibetan students at the university. And you said that in that visit, you were really motivated to pursue further studies in science. So what had happened?
So in 2008, His Holiness was invited to our university in London, where he was conferred an honorary doctorate. And after the event, some of the Tibetan students in our university were granted the opportunity to have a very brief audience with him. And at that time, His Holiness said that he was very happy that we were all doing very well in university. And he hoped that we would continue our studies and excel in our fields. So His Holiness has always stressed on the importance of modern education in achieving internal and external progress for genuine autonomy in Tibet. And for some reason, I think it resonated a lot with me on that day because I felt that everything that I had at that point was due to the hard work of His Holiness. And the least I could do was study harder and become someone that His Holiness and the community could be proud of. So, even though the past many years I've been studying instead of working and earning money like everyone else, I guess I'm a bit satisfied thinking that in some small way I'm fulfilling His Holiness's aspirations. And I also have to thank my parents for always supporting and encouraging me to do this because it's been many years and they've always been very supportive. And it was also something that I wanted to do for myself too.
Very true, Tendula, and I think all the Tibetans are very thankful to His Holiness for emphasizing so much on education. And anyways, Tendula, I also heard that you have been involved with the Tibetan community in Australia. You were actually the General Secretary of Canberra Tibetan Community in Australia for 2 years. So how do you maintain that balance? Because you were also pursuing your education at the same time. So how do you strike a balance in both these areas?
Yeah, the community here is very supportive and encouraging of the youth here. They want you to be a part of the committee, so they give opportunities to everyone. And once I had the opportunity to be the secretary, it was a very great learning experience for me, and I decided that I wanted to continue to participate in the community events, especially in the cultural performances. I think it was because my mother used to be the director of TPAL, and she always stressed upon preserving our culture, especially in the performing arts. Every time we perform for Tungar or Losar here, I'm in charge of making the costumes, and I try to make it as similar to TPA as possible, even though it's made of cardboard and not metal and leather like theirs. So it's a bit of a creative outlet for me for my PhD that I like to take time out for that. And in some way, it also keeps the younger generation here interested in our culture. So I think it's a win-win for everyone here.
That's wonderful, Tandula. And like I've said that, you have been doing very well throughout your academic life, and you have received scholarships and you have won many awards regarding your education. But to gain all of this, I'm sure it must not have been an easy journey for you. You must have had your own sorts of challenges to reach where you are right now. So, Tandula, can you share with us about the challenges and how did you overcome them?
In terms of scholarships, even throughout school and university, I've made sure that I focus not only on academics, but also on co-curricular activities and community events and leadership roles, which I think greatly helps when you apply for scholarships. But I think I faced most of my challenges during my PhD. So when I moved to Australia from UK, the education system was a bit different. So I didn't know anyone here who had a science postgraduate degree that I could turn to for guidance. So even applying for a research program took a lot longer than I would have liked, and made many mistakes until I could finally figure out how to do that. And when I first started, I thought that a PhD student is someone who's just always in the lab the whole time, doing the experiments quietly, not talking to anyone, which is kind of true in some way now that I think about it. I didn't realize the amount of presentations I would have to give as a PhD student. So, every year you have to present at lab meetings and seminars, state and national, international conferences. And even though I did win awards in these conferences for my research, it meant that I had to put in a lot of work to produce results to present there. And the PhD thesis, it depends on the success of your experiments, and that never works the way you want them to. So there were times when I felt like my life kind of revolved around my thesis. So even if I had to come at 6 a.m. on a Sunday to the lab or stay till 10, 11 p.m. to do 12-hour experiments. And at that time, I think it's good to have a good support system around you. And I've been very lucky to have the support of the Canberra Tibetan community. So they've made sure that I was healthy and eating well, and they always hyped me up whenever I was down. So even though it's a small community, it's very close-knit and caring, though. I think they're one of the main reasons I could get through a lot of the challenges during my PhD.
Tandula, even in the Tibetan community, there are so many Tibetans who wants to pursue their career in the field of science. So, Tandula, as someone who have reached the highest level of education in medical studies, what advice would you give for the younger Tibetan generation?
Yeah, it's been great to see the increasing interest in science among the younger Tibetan generation. I actually know a number of Tibetans with science PhDs in India and USA. And there's even a Tibetan Scientific Society that promotes higher scientific education among Tibetan students in school and university. So I'm hopeful that there'll be a lot more Tibetans in the future with science PhDs. My advice would be to always keep a curious mind. So science has so many questions that are still unanswered. And I think it's important to keep asking your own questions instead of just memorizing theories that are taught down to you. And in terms of doing a PhD, I think the most important thing is to ask yourself why you want to do a PhD. That was the first thing my professor asked me when I met him. And if you have a solid reason for doing that, then you need to hold on to it, because that's going to be your motivation when things get very difficult during a PhD. And another more practical advice would be to, before you start your PhD, you should know your PhD supervisor and their research style very well. So have a meeting with them, try to talk to the current or past PhD students if possible to get a vibe of the lab. So it's important that your expectations of your PhD match the expectations of your PhD supervisor. I did my MPhil in the same lab as the PhD that I did, so it was a bit easier for me because I knew how things worked around there. So I think that's an important lesson as well. And finally, PhD is not as unachievable as you would think. Tibetans have strong perseverance and adaptability. So I think that if I can do it, then a lot of you can do it as well.
Tendula, you are truly an inspiration for so many Tibetans, and it's so nice to see that your hard work really paid off. And also it's so nice to know that you got a lot of support throughout the process from the Tibetan community in Canberra. Thank you so much, Tendula, for making all of us proud, and thank you for speaking to Tibet TV.
Thank you for having me here. It's been an honor to be on Tibet TV on your program.
Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next episode of In Conversation with Tibet TV.